You people have been waiting for this show for weeks. Finally, we pull a Rich Eisen audible out of the playbook. It's time to play the win-loss game for the New York Jets ahead of training camp. Let's roll, baby. Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans. Field Yates, baby. Field Gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show. Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor Gosh darn Sycamore, baby. For me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas. Hey everybody, I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. And right off the top rope, we already have celebration. Before we even get to our guest, a membership gifted. Shout out to Bobby for handing out a Boy Green Coffee Club membership, $2.99 a month. And now we've got a new member to the Boy Green Army, which again, feel free to do so. You can join yourself. You can gift to others. It's the giving season. It can always be the giving season. So make sure you guys show your support for that. And shout out to Terrence Hill, who has been gifted a membership from Bobby Midnight. God bless, and we'll see how many of those memberships we could gift on the show today. Bobby, thank you very kindly. And let's get into our special guest joining us here on the show. Again, it's been highly anticipated, and now we're going to give the great people what they want. Or maybe not. We'll find out. Let's bring them in. Some Hop on Pop. Esden Zone joins us here on a Saturday. What's up, Pop?
Hey now.
Wow.
How's it going? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just dandy, thanks. But for mine, people for the visual viewers, I know there's a lot of people that listen solely to the audio podcast. So let me paint the canvas for you. You know, if you watch our show, you'll see it says Paul Boy Green Eston Jr. is my first little headline, and the second one says New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy. Okay, makes sense. Hop on over to the guest that can put anything. Eston Zone. Okay, makes sense. Season prediction. Reality check. Oh boy, I don't know where this is going, but might not be good news. Not be good news.
I won't give too much into that, but I want to say that I spent a lot of time looking at the schedule, both during our breakdown leading up to that, and it's a realistic prediction. I think that we just need to calm down, relax, right? And really walk through, dissect the games. And again, this prediction show in July. So what are you going to do? But before we go through the predictions,
sure, yeah,
as we've been doing of late, I would like to introduce a blast from the past, another member of the Esden Zone family tree.
Okay,
who will come back later and discuss the insider Boy Greenness, and that is your Uncle Chris.
Okay, Uncle Chris, there we are. I wish I was with you guys because I appreciate that. Long time caller, first time. Yeah, I would just say that it's been cool over the years, and I just wish we could treasure them more because we don't know how often we could do this for the July 4th holiday and everything. So I wish I was there with you guys drinking an uncomfortable amount of hand grenades and doing all kinds of other action. But, it's great to see you.
Good to see you too.
All right, there he is. I can't wait for that story later. That will be a doozy. Also, shout out to, again, our new member of the Boy Green Coffee Club, Terrence Hill, who says, good morning, y'all, and thanks, Bobby, for the membership. Again, welcome to the Army. But before you get into your official prediction there, Pop, I saw that we had someone ask something in the comment section. That's NY Jets FL, who says, is Paul Sr. going Hollywood? And of course, he has to be referencing Hulk Hogan when he made the flip to the NWO. And they're like, whoa, wait a second. He's doing what? Potential heel turn, a flip. You're going one way, And then you go the other. Yeah, but in your case, it wouldn't be a heel turn, it'd be a baby turn, maybe a little baby face action. So we will see with your prediction. So I guess
the
we
leg drop heard across the world. The leg
That's
drop
it.
heard when the new world order was formed.
And I love it. I watched a behind the scenes thing where Hulk Hogan for a while wasn't sure if he was going to do it for his character, and there's some back and forth. And the third member was supposed to be Sting.
Yes,
Yeah,
Sting.
that's right. And Hulk Hogan was like, no, it's got to be me. And that's phenomenal. So great storytelling. You guys can actually go look up that clip and go through it. It's spectacular. Yeah.
Some of the best wrestling. The Monday Night Wars, the WWE came up and they were always going to win because that was the only thing that Vince had going on. Well, not everything, the only thing he had going on apparently, but he had the only thing going on. And them throwing, people were calling the police during that time, thinking that what the NWO were really assaulting people when they used Rey Mysterio as a lawn dart into the side of a trailer. Those things, that's classic wrestling. That is phenomenal. Anyways.
Yes, that, well, I will certainly say that's one of a kind, to say the least. There's no question about it. So, folks, here is how this is going to work for the New York Jets schedule. We're playing the win-loss game. After breaking down the schedule in a bunch of different pieces over the past couple of weeks, we're now going to tell you and walk you through their schedule. We're not just going to give you a record and then react to it. What we're going to do is we're going to walk through that entire schedule and show you the path, the wins, the losses, and some explanation as we rock all the way through this. So with that being said, I will throw this up on the screen so you guys can follow along with the schedule here. And there you go. This is the Jets 2024 schedule. It goes top left to right, and then it just goes through there. 1, 2, 3, then new row 4, 5, 6, and vice versa, and all that jazz for the schedulers. Okay, Pop, why don't we start you off with the win-loss game? Why don't you take us through?
Yep. And so, I'll just be picking a few highlights of some games. I won't say, I'll say little or nothing at all.
Sure.
In the essence of breaking down 17 games. You have 17 games to break down. Boyd Green insight of the day, and then caller. So anyways, we'll go through, and we've talked about these. So the first game, the Jets 49ers. This is one I will speak to. The 49ers are a mirror image of what the Jets want to be. And that not just factually, right? They've got the impressive the proven thing, right? So that we think the Jets are there. We think with Wilson, we think with Hall, we think with a healthy Aaron Rodgers. Well, that's where the 49ers have already been, right? They've been Cinderella the past few years. I have this as a loss for the Jets. I think that in a different, 4 or 5 weeks down the road, when the Jets had more time to really, because we've made preseason and training camp unionized. We've made it, that you really hardly play it all, and the rhythm really needs to get there. And after Aaron Rodgers last year, I think they need more run time. I think, again, this is fine. It's going to be tight. It's going to be close, but there's too much talent on the 49ers, and the Jets need to congeal as a team better. So I have this down as a loss for the Jets.
Okay, and real quick, just because I wanted to get to this at the beginning of the show, I want to give a special happy birthday to my brother and your son, Brody Esden, who turns another year older. I don't know if he wants his age out there in the universe, but
I won't say that he's 34. So
well, hey now, and so happy birthday to my brother Brody. But okay, I will be keeping track of this behind the scenes, because we'll come up with a nice looking graphic to release to the masses after the fact, which I'm sure people are really going to love. So starting off the season with the loss, Monday Night Football on the road. Okay. Yep.
And by the way, we should probably show a tail of the tape every week. Maybe that'd be the backdrop as we move through the season.
What do you mean?
Your prediction versus my prediction.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Tracking. Okay, so I think it's a loss. I think it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a constructive loss. And again, 4 or 5 weeks down the road, this may be a different story. But Christian McCaffrey, the 49ers, they're going to be too much with that strong defense.
Yeah, and I just want to say I'm not going to be asking you for each week, like, what was the score? I won't be doing that week to week. That's a little too advanced for the prediction here in July, but you think that the game will be close. You don't think the Jets are going to get run through against the 49ers?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't think so.
All right.
And again, I wasn't wavering on this game, but I will say that to me, this is the game that Hackett could win, or
Wow.
definitely lose
Oh,
for the Jets.
I see.
Right. And to me, the first game of the season, when you're the offensive coordinator, that's when it's time. When you come off a bye, when you come out of halftime and that first game of the season, that's all on you. Right.
Yeah.
You got a 9-month running head start. And if he goes 3 and out, look out. Anyways, so we won't spend that much time on every game. The next game is the Titans. The Titans are terrible. They gave away their best player. You probably could have Homer Simpson be the quarterback. So this is definitely a solid win for the Jets. No questions asked.
Oh, great. Okay. And that's another road game, by the way, folks. And you can see it on the screen if you guys are watching. The black logos are road games. The green ones are home. So, yeah, that's at Tennessee Titans. Yep, gotcha.
And the next game, moving right along, is when we're going to have the police come to the Meadowlands. There will be baby seals being clubbed. We'll be reveling in the parking lot, reveling in the stadium as the Boy Green Mafia, the Morning Coffee Club descends upon the Meadowlands, and it'll be a epic beatdown of the New England Patriots.
Okay, I love that. And yes, by the way, random detour. I'll also do it during my Jets breakdown, but in the YouTube description is tickets, folks. We're closing in. Today is Saturday, July 6th. In 2 days' time, we are approaching the deadline because on Monday after Boy Green Daily, so again, that'll wrap up around 8:30 in the morning, we are closing the doors for your ability to buy Jets Patriots tickets to sit with us for the game. So people, again, if you're on the fence, I need some final answers and some reaching out and things of that nature, or else you'll be left out of the club. You could still buy tickets to somewhere else in the stadium, but you will no longer be able to sit with us for that. And I'd love to meet and hang out with as much of you as possible. So again, all the details in the YouTube description down below on how to pay and what you'd be paying for. And again, you can also reach out for questions at that email below.
Yep. So gird your loins, search the couch cushions, ask mom if you can go to the game. Let's go. All right. Next up, this a couple quicker games, right? This next game is going to be an embarrassment. Oh. Right. If there was some way on the planet Earth that the Jets lost this game, then you should save the rest of the money for your year. Maybe pick up watching, pickleball or something like that. The Jets will destroy the Broncos. The Broncos are going to be terrible. Hopefully they start Zach Wilson so the Jets the players. I'm sure the defense has a little angst, has a little anger towards Zach Wilson. Would love to smack him around like a drunken pinata. So that this game won't be close. Definite solid win.
Nice.
Next, the Jets travel to London.
Yes.
Against the Vikings. Again, the Vikings are. Remember that movie, Something About Mary?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And you remember her brother?
I do.
Right, yeah. Have you seen my baseball? Right. Actually, I have his baseball, and it's right here. But anyways, have you seen my baseball? That's the Minnesota Vikings. They are the most confusing, ridiculous embarrassment of a team. Justin Jefferson's like, what is going on? Anyways, this is a win for the Jets over in London.
All right, a 4-1 start. Maybe that Hollywood Hulk Hogan heel is coming after all. That turn, very nice.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, if they're after 5 games, we're going to sit here on this show after 5 games. If they're not 4-1, Houston, we have a problem because we talked about it. We're going to get down to later stretch, right? This is where you get the running start, prime the pump, get it moving on the treadmill.
Yeah.
So moving on to the Bills, I think the Bills will have congealed as a team. The Bills will not, right? This is where the Jets pick up the check for deciding not to have the bye week after a traveling overseas game. They could have had the bye week here. They opted not to do that. They're
Mhm.
going to be a significant jet lag. I think they lose to the Bills in week
Wow.
6.
Oof.
This will be the one. I don't think they win this game. And I think it was the right, even with the loss, I think was the right move to move the bye later in the season to kind of give everybody a rest for that final push. But I think that the price you have to pay is a loss here as at home on Monday Night Football.
Oof. That'd be tough. That'd be tough at home. But hey, I understand. Okay.
All right. Next up is the Steelers. I have this. I think this is going to be one of the closer games. I think it's going to be a close game. I have it down as a win for the Jets. I think Tomlinson always, you don't know how he wins. He's got like a bag of tricks or something, and although they're not tricks, but anyways, he always managed to pull something out. I think Russell Wilson is going to be, he almost has to be a resurgence. And so it's going to be a tight game, but it's definitely a win for the Jets.
Okay, great. Another primetime win. Love it. Excellent.
And then we're not even going to talk about this. If they manage to actually, this is the only time a home team may not show up after the drubbing of week 3, the bookend of the first 8 weeks. We get the Patriots again. Definitely a win. No questions asked.
Great.
For the Jets.
Okay, beautiful. I love where this is going.
All right. Next up is the Houston Texans. I believe they are the Jets play like 3 or 4, what I would say, pretty complete teams.
Okay.
And I think that the Houston Texans are one of them. And I think this is a loss for the Jets. Another primetime game, but I believe this is a loss for the Jets on Thursday Night Football.
Okay. All right. We're here at 6-3, if I have my math right. Okay.
Okay. So 6-3, pretty solid for. And again, I would ask everybody, even when I'm done, I'm going to give you some historical data.
Okay.
Right. And realistic expectations is a way not to end up in the hospital with heart palpitations. Right.
All right.
So next up is the Cardinals.
Correct.
I lost my track here. Yeah. Well, next up is the Cardinals. Again, another team that very dysfunctional, very, it's hard to say that they're rebuilding, right? They're rebuilding like anyone that's been in Massachusetts on Route 2 that's been rebuilding for 50 years since construction has been rebuilding.
Wow.
So this is definitely a win for the Jets here against the Cardinals.
Beautiful. 7-3. Great.
All right. Then next up is one of those complete teams that we talked about before. This offensive line is phenomenal. The running back is solid. The defense. This is a game, and I had 3 games where I went back and forth and thought about it a lot. This is one of them, and I have this as a loss for the Jets against the Colts.
Wow.
Yeah, that offensive line. I'll tell you that it's obviously, we'll talk about it when we get close. There's definitely winnable. It's definitely winnable. But it's going to be the trench game. This is going to be, as I said before when we broke down this game, this is going to be a slobber knocker, pounding game. And frankly, the Colts may be better off if Richardson's already out for the year at this point. But I do have this as a loss for the Jets.
Wow. Okay. So we're 7-4 heading into the bye week.
That's right. And coming out of the bye week, the Jets break the Robert Saleh curse. And I have them beating Seattle. I don't think this is a walk-away game, but this could be the Geno Smith revenge game. But I do have them winning. I think it's going to be closer than we might imagine.
Okay. All right. Again, 8-4 with the final 5 games to go that you've highlighted these final 5 games before.
Yep. So the final 5 games right up after that is the Dolphins, a resurgence of the fastest show on turf. With their wide receiving core. I have the Jets going into a humid Miami in December and losing this one in a shootout fashion.
Shootout. Interesting. Okay, that drops them to 8-5. That is the New York Jets. Again, we're playing the win-loss game. If you're just coming in, again, a win-loss game. New York Jets. We're going through piece by piece the entire schedule. My father is going first, and I will go after, and this will be our final record predictions ahead of the season. He has them at 8-5 after a Week 14 loss. Again, with 4 games to go, the final quarter.
All right, and next up is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have this. This is, again, a confusing team.
Mm.
But I have them beating the Jaguars in Florida.
Okay.
Back-to-back weeks. And I don't know. This may be an opportunity. Do you stay down there if you're the Jets? I don't know. We haven't talked about that.
Sure.
But do you fly back, and then you lose? Anytime you do that, right? You lose a day, 2 days of training. You just stay down there. It's more comfortable for the players. Who knows?
Yeah. Quick question in the middle of this. We're getting a couple of people asking about a humid December. What does that mean? Jared B. Humid December. Terrence Hill. Humid December.
So
LOL. What is that?
A lot of these people, I have lived in that region of the country. There may be people that have lived there longer than I have.
Yeah, Jared's up Florida liver, I do believe.
So I lived in Orlando, Florida for 2 years. I lived in St. Mary's, Georgia for the better part of a decade. And I would tell you that anyone that lives in New York doesn't know what a humid December is, but it is more comfortable. But I'll tell you, the first time I walked off the plane into Orlando, I was like, what in the hell is going on here? And then it was humidity. Okay. So it will be different than New York atmosphere. It will be driving them. Is it August preseason game? Is it a September one? Not as much. That won't be the factor. It's the speed of Miami, and it'll be completely different. We talked about the last game of the year, right? Yeah, there's not a lot of humidity in the Meadowlands in January 5th.
Yeah,
so that'll.
Just there seems to be a lot of pushback from people who apparently are living in Florida and responding to this. Phil says, we live in Orlando. Terrence Hill says, I live here. There is no humid December here in Fort Lauderdale. So, again, some aggressive pushback, but just letting you know what the people are saying as we're going through this.
Yep, and that's pretty helpful. You could look at the map and see the difference between Miami and Fort Lauderdale, the distance. Anyway, moving on. So the next game up, I believe, is so they beat the Jaguars.
Yes.
They go to the Rams.
Home for the Rams. Yep.
Home for the Rams. And I have this as a loss for the Jets.
A loss, okay. Well, at least it's an NFC opponent, I guess. That makes you feel a little bit better in terms of the playoff implications. Okay, 9-6 for the Jets with 2 games left to play.
Yeah, and next they travel to Orchard Park.
Correct.
Against Buffalo. Second game against Buffalo. Jets get the revenge here with the win.
Okay, a split with Buffalo. All right, that's better than a sweep, I suppose. All right, 10-6. All right, beautiful.
And then the last game of the season, I went back and forth on this. The last game of the season, it is going to be in the Meadowlands. It will be cold. Fish don't like the cold. And so I have it as a win.
Wow.
For the Jets.
Okay, you have them at 11-6, which, by the way, they've had multiple 11-win seasons during their history. That's one short of their all-time win record, which is 12 wins back in 1998. Very nice, 11-6.
So let's just use our adjectives appropriately.
Okay.
Multiple 11-win seasons. Do you know how many the number is? In the 64 year, what would multiple be when you're talking about 64 years? I have the answer to this, by the way.
Okay, if I had to, because I don't know exactly, but I would have to guess that it's 5 or 6.
Yep. And no, it's 4.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 4. 1968, 1985, 1998, and 2010. Those are the 4 years. And I was hemming and hawing. I went back and forth. I actually made the final decision why we were talking about it. I had close to 10-7, 11-6. I was back and forth on that. I don't see them winning more than 11 games, but I did toggle the switch and get them to 11-6. It was between that 10-7, 11-6, really splitting with the 2 division opponents and, obviously clubbing the Patriots. So there's a few opportunities out there, a few challenging games out there, but the 10-11 wins is where I think they'll be at.
Okay, so you have them at 11-6. Is that an AFC East title?
That will have. It's going to go to tiebreakers. That's where I think it's going to be at.
Okay, and if we went to some of the immediate tiebreakers, would be divisional, and so you had them splitting with Miami, and so what's that, 4-2? So would that be good enough, or we'll let the gods figure that out, basically?
Yeah, I think the Jets are the first wild card.
Okay, so interesting. All right. Interesting. Okay, which could still be the division technically, but we'll see. Interesting. All right, so there you go. 11-6. That's it. Like I said, we'll make a nice little graphic for that and put that out in the universe, though. Okay. Not too shabby, Pop. Not too shabby. And that is, as you say, realism. As I'll take this down so we could get a beautiful look at your face as we're going through this. So beautiful. So okay, reality check. 11-6. That's not bad.
Yeah, I actually typed in the reality check when I was going to say 10. 10. And then as I went through it, because again, there are the games I say, there are going to be some ones that are going to sneak up on sneakingly, tough games. The Seattle game, the Steelers game. There's a couple games that are like, and then there's some obvious, there's 6 or 7 that you just need to win, that like you have no excuse to lose.
Yeah, as I react to what you've presented before us, I think you're a little high on Indy. Some of your conversations about them, I think, are a little too rich. But overall, I mean, the way that you got here isn't too shabby. Humid December aside, 11-6. If the Jets got that, I don't know how you could be disappointed. I think really the watermark is, quite frankly, is if they have under 10 wins, I'm like, wow, something must have gone wrong for this construct, this team. For them to have 9 wins or fewer would be a watermark for me. So to be in the double-digit win mark, to be at 11 wins is a very nice place to be. Before we move on, there's a quick YouTube super chat coming in, which, by the way, are always available. They help skip the queue. Ace of Spade asks, Pop, who's your current favorite Jet player?
Yeah, and so I have a couple.
Okay.
But that's tough. I would say Tyron Smith, but that's too easy. So I'm not going to go with Tyron.
Yes.
I'm not going to go with Tyron Smith.
Okay. Yeah.
But no, I'm I'm a mixture. I like I like Conklin.
Okay. He's a good guy. Yeah.
And he's my kind of punch in the mouth. He's like very Ferguson like, to a cowboy reference.
Interesting.
The punch in the mouth kind of guy. The fiery leader of the offense. And then I like there's on the defense. It's really tough, but I'll go with Quentin Williams on defense.
Oh, Quentin Williams. Okay, a very, very nice choice. Thank you, Ace of Spade, for that super chat in the middle of this conversation. So again, re-rack. We're playing the win-loss game for the New York Jets. It's our final submission ahead of the season and specifically ahead of training camp. So that's my dad's official prediction. Again, 11-6. Now it's my turn, baby. And
okay, so we're now leaving the world of reality.
No. I was about to say this is a reality check. Absolutely, it's a reality check in a different way, perhaps. So let's throw it up there. Okay, baby. Here is the win-loss game, and I did not struggle with 2 records. I felt pretty good about the one that was constructed here. Let's roll. Week 1 on the road. Monday Night Football against the San Francisco 49ers. I think unquestionably this is the toughest game on the schedule for the New York Jets. Incredibly difficult. The 49ers have been a multi-time NFC champion over the last couple of years, representing in the Super Bowl. Their roster's loaded. It's freaking talented. But there's a reason that I was begging for this game in week 1. First off, as a tone-setting game, measure yourself immediately. Don't play some cream puff. Immediately know where you believe you stand at the beginning of the season. So I like that. And number 2, this is a West Coast trip. Thankfully, the Jets don't have a lot of these. You have Arizona, which is in that general direction, and San Francisco. That's it. There's no more of these crazy West Coast trips. And, of course, obviously, you have the London game that you could sprinkle in there as well as another long road trip. You mitigate the impact of a West Coast trip by doing it week 1. Between the final preseason game and your first game is a 2-week gap. That's plenty of time to kind of figure out that portion of the schedule, and that's a big one. I think the Jets come out and they start off with a dub. A win. They beat the San Francisco 49ers, and both of the sides know each other incredibly well. Robert Saleh knows Shanahan. Shanahan knows Saleh, and I think that will stand to benefit this New York Jets team. So Brock Purdy is someone I think the Jets defense can get after, and there's a couple of games last year. Look at him against Cleveland. When you had some of those aggressive defenses getting after him, all of a sudden you start getting trigger happy. It gets into a turnover mode. And Ravens was another really great one from last year where the defense got after him. I think we start the season with a win on the road, Monday Night Football. Give me that dub. Absolutely, give me that dub. And feel free as we're going through this. You can yell at me at all if you disagree with any of this. But the Jets stay on the road. They go to Tennessee. They play against the Tennessee Titans. And I won't roll over them as easily as you did. There's a lot of intriguing things. They have one of the best wide receiving corps in the NFL with DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, and Will Levis is very herky-jerky. That's really what he looked like during his rookie season. But this is a point where, again, the Jets defense goes, oh, Will Levis? Okay, here we go. And they don't have Derrick Henry anymore. So they got a Tony Pollard, Tyjae Spears combination in the backfield. And if they had Derrick Henry, maybe you feel a little bit differently about this one. Plus, it's a first-year coach of Brian Callahan. Give me a dub. Throw another win on the board. Hey, yes, sir, as they start off 2-0. And come on, people, for the love of everything that's holy. Do you think I'm predicting the Jets are going to lose at the game I'm going to be at? Hell no. Give me another win in blowout fashion. This is a ritual animal sacrifice. It will be an ode to, when the Indians, took out a big game, took out something, and now we're celebrating and doing some weird fire dance around it. That's another win for the New York Jets. Again, another first-year head coach in Gerard Mayo, the Jets home opener. There's going to be a lot of energy and emotion built up to this one for obvious reasons. And that's a big. There's some demons the Jets have to conquer, including the Patriots, who have won a lot of games in a row against the Jets. I believe it's 8 against the Jets at MetLife Stadium. They need to quell those demons. So 3-0 start, baby. Let's go week 4.
Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
That's a great line. By the way, someone gave that line on Sports Center or something, and they immediately got text. They said, it wasn't the Germans, right? And obviously they didn't see the movie. So that was really embarrassing. Really embarrassing.
I'm hopefully at the end of this, I don't give you your grade point average of 0.0.
Yeah, I appreciate that. All right, so let's go week 4. The Jets are still at home. Again, we had the home opener in week 3. Week 4, another home game. It's against the Denver Broncos. And again, if it was somehow possible for Transformers to unite their powers and combine into one quarterback, it still wouldn't matter between Bo Nix and Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson. And this is one, remember, that Aaron Rodgers had circled last year because of the crap Sean Payton talked about Nathaniel Hackett, and it seemed like it was going to be personal. And the Jets did get the win last year, and there's a nice little hubbub there for Nathaniel Hackett. I think Aaron Rodgers is not going to forget this one. This is one that he's going to want to unleash the reins of hell. And it could be Aaron Rodgers. Hey, if you're a betting person, his passing yards might take the over for that game coming up in week 4 at home. Give me another win, 4-0 to start the season for the New York Jets. Let's go.
Yeah, just on that, it's, in retrospect, Sean Payton wasn't that far off being wrong on his evaluation of Hackett. Although he might have been wrong just at the wrong time. He said that was the worst coaching job you ever seen in the history of the NFL. And then Hackett's like, here, hold my monster.
Oh, here we go.
Hold my monster. Because we can, hey, do you know that we get this running back that can catch a football? Anyways, go ahead.
I will just say that, Sean Payton broke coaching code. You're not supposed to do that. But you know what? It's fine because this is the mentality I look at. I can make fun of my brother, but other people can't make fun of my brother. So Nathaniel Hackett, once they made fun of him, he's a Jet now. So we're representing him. We're like, hey, you can't be making fun of him and doing those kinds of things. So again, there will be some receipts collected there. We go to week 5. That is the London game against the Minnesota Vikings. That is a Minnesota Vikings home game. The Jets are, quote unquote, traveling on the road as they would have been, even if it was in Minneapolis. You don't really know what's happening here. J.J. McCarthy, Sam Darnold, perhaps, which again, there could be multiple. We mentioned Zach Wilson. My father talked about Seattle. We'll get to that one later. Could be multiple former Jets quarterbacks that potentially they went against there in week 5. That's a win. Justin Jefferson's really good, and Sauce apparently is supposed to travel this year. That will be a marquee matchup at 9:30 in the morning East Coast time to keep an eye out for that one. Give me another win. We're 5-0, okay? But again, there's a reality check coming. Week 6 at home. Monday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills. They've won the division 4 times in a row. And to be the man, you got to beat the man, quite frankly. And that's exactly what the New York Jets are going to do on Monday Night Football. Give me another win against the Buffalo Bills. Again, Jets are at home. and the Jets have beaten the Bills in 2 of the last 2 years. They've faced them 4 times. They've beat them twice, and both of those wins have come at home. This one's at home. At a minimum, I think you get a split here against the Buffalo Bills, the contract of this team. They beat him with Zach Wilson. What's going to happen with Aaron gosh darn Rodgers?
So the Dolphins should be worried here. Not keep their champagne on ice.
I'm
they're 6-0.
I'm glad that you're keeping count here. Yep, we are 6-0. So let's see how much further this goes. Let's go to week 7. It's a game against the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road. Another primetime game. This is Sunday Night Football. Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, perhaps. Who knows who's going to be there? I'll tell you this. Does not matter. The Jets have won 3 of their last 4 games against the Pittsburgh Steelers in this series. So, little note there. Ba-ding! And New York Jets take care of business. Go into Acrisure, no longer Heinz Field. Acrisure. Give me another win. Okay, there we go. All right, so Dolphins, sorry. Keep that champagne ready, pal. All right, let's go to week 8. Another win. The Jets sweep the New England Patriots. And by the way, here's a nugget. I had to scroll a while. I'm going to be honest to see this one. The Jets have not swept the New England Patriots since. I'll give you an opportunity, Dad, for some trivia. When's the last time the New York Jets swept the New England Patriots?
2009.
Okay, no, 2000. That was 24 years ago. Is the last time that they swept them and won both regular season matchups inside the same season. And now we get our own history, and we beat the New England Patriots with a rusty wrench. So, okay, 8-0, baby. Here we go. All right, let's go to week 9. At home, short week, Halloween. Primetime matchup, Thursday Night Football, the second Thursday Night Football game of the year against the Houston Texans. And you mentioned that this is one of the more complete teams in football. I think they got a lot to prove. We have the sophomore year slumps that we often see from players. They've got a talented team. Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Joe Mixon. The defense is really interesting. They brought in Danielle Hunter. They still have Will Anderson as well. A lot of talent. But I don't think the student will beat the master. Saleh knows the 49ers schematics better than D'Amico Ryans does. That's another win. Okay, give me a dub. We're at
yeah. So just for the record, 9 games into the season.
Yeah.
9 games into the season.
Yeah.
You are predicting that the Jets will have won more games than 80% of their entire. So if you think back, the Jets only have won more than 9 games 20% of the time of their entire history. And you're saying they're going to do that in the first 9 games.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we get to the end,
okay,
if the number is 17-0, there's somebody that's going to have a special ambulance pull up to outside your house.
Okay.
It's going to be nice. It's going to be like mattresses on the sides of the walls. There'll be a special jacket that you can wear. We'll put a little Jet sticker on the front of the jacket. Your arms won't be able to move too good. But anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nope, that's right. So at 9-0 start to the season, you did hear that correctly, and thank you for re-emphasizing it. I really appreciate that. To the 300 people in the room, again, we're playing the win-loss game for the New York Jets.
50 seasons the Jets haven't won 9 games.
That's an interesting stat, but that's the past. This is the present. And again, Aaron gosh darn Rodgers. So,
I hope we have Gator who can cut up this video later on. We can spread it.
Celebrate it. Pop champagne. Wow, Paul predicted this before anyone else.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Gator, feel free to grab that.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right, we go to week 10, and the Jets travel to the Arizona Cardinals. And I will just kind of tell you here as we go through this. This is the first loss of the season for the New York Jets. The Cardinals are an incredibly sneaky team. Kyler Murray is very good. The Jets are on the road. And even in this occasion, they actually have extra time because of the prior Thursday night football game. They have a mini bye ahead of this Arizona Cardinals game. And they got some talent, man. Marvin Harrison Jr. You obviously have Kyler Murray in there. James Conner's a touchdown machine. They also had Trey Benson, who you mentioned earlier a couple of shows ago. They got some talent, sneaky talent. Hey, the Cowboys overlooked them, and they got beat by this Arizona Cardinals team. So anything is possible with the Cardinals, and that's the first L of the season coming in week 10. So tough, stumbling all the way down to 9-1. 9-1 after
Yeah,
that.
Frank, I did not drop him on his head as a baby, but his mother did twice in one night. Anyways, move on.
Yeah. There's a Frank on Heavy on Jets page. I don't understand the drop of the head. What you're not agreeing with the record so far? Okay, hate is gonna hate, I guess. Anywho, let's go to week 11. Jets immediate bounce back. They're beating the Indianapolis Colts again. I just think you're too high on this team, and the highness that you may have had for Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew ain't there anymore, baby. It's Anthony Richardson and Joe Flacco. And yeah, as you look at this Colts team, I think there is talent. And their offensive line, while it has been historically good, it hasn't been good recently. This Colts team has had some issues. They built this perfect offensive line with Quentin Nelson and everything a couple years ago. Last year, some major slippage. Also, over the last handful of years, quite frankly, they've kind of fallen off a little bit. So I think it might be one of those Pro Bowl, like people talked about them being really good, but some questions. I have some questions here.
So just for the record, you think I'm too high on the Colts and
Yeah.
you have the Jets at 10 and 11 and 1. All right, go ahead. Keep on.
Yeah, absolutely I do. And I believe that's only a 10-1 actually is where 11
Did you
weeks
take
is.
your medication this morning? I'm just wondering. Did you?
Again, 10-1.
You got to take food with it. I don't know if you remember that part. Anyways,
Yeah,
go
that's
ahead.
okay. I just want you to kind of be, don't overrate me here. It's 10-1, not 11-1. Let's be realistic for Pete's sake.
Okay, let's move on. I don't want to have to give that the gun show joke that I told before we came on. But anyways, go ahead.
I think you want to preserve that for your own well-being and the reaction of the fans. So then we go into the bye week. Hopefully the Jets can win that one. Don't want any storylines or injuries coming out of that. We come out of the bye against Seattle Seahawks, and here's a stat I wish I didn't have in front of me. The Jets are 2-10 in their last 12 games coming off a bye. And that includes a win last season, by the way. They somehow won that game against the New York Giants. So they are 2-10 when they come off the bye. I think this is a loss against the Seattle Seahawks. The Jets don't do very well coming off the bye. And when you come off a bye, you mentioned it at the beginning of the season during your predictions, but it holds the same water coming this way. It's on coaches. Players get away. Coaches are the one that are spending extra hours in the office, even when there's not a game to prepare for that particular week. You just have extra time to think. And I get a little worrisome when these coaches have a little extra time to think. This is going to be a big highlight. So, again, they're 2-10 in their last 12. And make that 2-11 because I think that's a loss to the Seattle Seahawks. The Jets have just not fared very well coming off a bye. Perhaps Aaron Rodgers and others can quell some of those demons, but I don't have that. All right.
You know what they don't do enough, and Geno should know better, right? 5 times a game, I tell DK Metcalf, run down the field. I'm going to throw you up the ball. Yeah. And they just don't do it enough. Because when you do, amazing things happen. That guy is Megatron-like.
Yeah, and just because you could get a PI, like what's the worst that could happen? Or at the very least, you threaten the defense like, whoa, okay, we got to watch out for that. We're going to back up a few steps, and that could potentially set up stuff for the run game with guys like Kenneth Walker and the like. So, again, that's something else I would factor into the equation. And, again, quite frankly, I hope Aaron Rodgers does it a few times with Garrett Wilson. That could be, if we get, this is super deep, but this is super deep cut. But Jets 49ers, you could do two things to start the game. You could just run the ball and just let's get past the fourth snap, everyone breathe, and then let's play the game. Or immediately off the get-go, a play action deep shot to Garrett Wilson just to say, hey, we're all here, mother beep, and just go after it. That would be another way to go. But we'll see if the Jets do that a few times with Garrett Wilson this season. That wouldn't be a bad play. All right, we go to week 14 here. This is on the road against the Miami Dolphins. By the way, that Seattle Seahawks game was at home, and so was the Colts game before that. That was another home game. This is in Miami, and they're famous for their humid Decembers. So obviously that's a factor here in all of this. I do believe they lose to the Dolphins. I think they're going to split potentially with this Dolphins team. I know everyone says all these things about the Dolphins not being very good against winning teams and things of that nature. The Jets have a lot to prove. The Dolphins have had the Jets number over the last batch of years as it pertains to this rivalry, if you even want to call it that. The Jets have not done their homework against the Dolphins, and for us Jet fans, we've made a lot of excuses saying this, that, or the other are the reasons. I mean, proof is in the pudding. The Jets need to win games against the Dolphins in results-oriented business for this to flip. We love making fun of the Dolphins, but we haven't had many wins against the Dolphins in recent memory. So another loss for the New York Jets, and they lose back-to-back games for the first time this season. There you go. Very nice. All right, let's go. Next, we stay there in Florida against the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road. And by the way, I wanted to bring up the Seattle point earlier. I forgot to mention it. Jets have lost 5 in a row to Seattle. Kind of a weird stat. They don't play that often, obviously, but 5 in a row to Seattle. And also, you mentioned in the record coming off the bye. That one's a little wild. So I just had that nugget in there earlier. Wanted to get back to that. But yes, again, going back to week 15 here against the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road. Again, I think Trevor Lawrence is incredibly overrated. I think if you watch his highlight tape, there's a lot of really good throws he can make in vacuums and random moments, but he just can't string them together or hasn't strung them together on a consistent level yet. So he got paid because the Jaguars had no other choice. That's their guy. Of course they have to pay him. But boy, there's got to be some development here from Trevor Lawrence. I think the Jets take care of business on the road in Jacksonville and get another dub there against the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road, which sends us to the final 3 games of the season. And the Jets return home to MetLife Stadium 3 days before Christmas in a 1:00 event against the LA Rams. They may not have Aaron Donald anymore, but they've got one of the most dynamic offenses in football with Cooper Kupp, obviously Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, you have Blake Corum in the backfield, and Matthew Stafford, who I thought was washed heading into last year, and he proved he is certainly not that. He should be getting a nice juicy contract extension before we get to the season. I have this as a loss for the New York Jets. I have this as a loss. We'll see. This will be a great challenge for the Jets defense to see how they man up against a team with so much offensive firepower. Plus, I didn't even mention Tyler Higbee, who's another weapon as well. The good news for the Jets is some of these losses I've mentioned, like Seattle, NFC, Rams, NFC. Hopefully that should help as it becomes to positioning and seeding as we get to the back end of the season. And we get to our final 2 games, 2 AFC East opponents, one on the road against Buffalo, one at home against Miami. And move over, people. I think the Jets sweep the Buffalo Bills this season. I think they've proven to be the better team over the last couple of years when they fought before. They've had great moments against the Buffalo Bills against them. It hasn't always been proven, obviously. If you look at the records, Buffalo has won the division 4 years in a row. They've had great regular season success outside of this Jets rivalry. But the Jets have had their number, man. And now you sprinkle in Aaron Rodgers here in this quarterback differential. I love it. I think the New York Jets sweep the Buffalo Bills and check that one off the bucket list. They've done that one, by the way, much more recently than the New England Patriots sweep. And then they finish off the season with a Week 18 win against the Miami Dolphins to secure positioning, which, by the way, for those counting at home, here is the record. 13-4 for the New York Jets. It's their first AFC East title since 2002. It's the most wins ever they've had in a regular season, topping 1998's 12 wins. And they will be in the thick of the race for the number 1 seed in the AFC Conference. Boom, shaka, laka.
Yeah. Shocking. Not shocking. Just some of the losses are confusing. Some of the wins are more confusing.
Okay.
But we'll see. We've got to break it down. I think we have a couple that line up. I did say the Seattle was one that I was like, I don't think there's any way they lose to Arizona. But there's
okay.
And
well,
so
let me ask you that one. Did you think there was any chance the Cowboys would lose to Arizona?
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
so they historically
did,
they historically play poorly against games they should win. That's a coaching gap. And if I was the coach of any NFL team or even a college football team, if I had a median offensive line and a pounder of a running back, I would do nothing else but eat the Cowboys' lunch because they haven't shored up the run defense for the better part of 5 years intentionally, right? And so anybody that wanted to pound the football down their throat, you will beat them. Right. If you can stop them, right. Three things can happen when you throw the football. 2 of them are bad. Right. Mm-hmm. And only one of them is good. So that's why people mix it up. Right. You can have a reception, you can have an incomplete, you have an interception. Right. So you have to have that solid running game. And I'm not surprised that they lost to the Cardinals because they came out and the Cardinals punched them in the mouth.
Yeah, and the only thing I will say is you said that some of my losses were confusing and things. Every season, well, especially in Jets land, but I will say this in a general sense, games happen where we go, whoa, what happened there? For instance, last year, the Houston Texans lost to the Carolina Panthers. That happened. Bryce Young beat C.J. Stroud. That was one, by the way, I accurately predicted on the radio show. Thank you very much. But things happen
You
that
picked against the spread. You didn't pick the game as a win. So get off
also, we can
yourself.
review the tape. Not only pick the spread, I also guaranteed a win on the radio show. You guys can check the tape. That was my
There is
pick
no
of the
tape.
week. Thank you very much. But anywho, my point is that there are games that you're like, wow, how did that happen every year? And I think it's so. Again, as we were going through this, I see all the fans commenting in, which by the way we appreciate. Over 300 people in the room. Heavy on Jets Facebook page. Shout out to Heavy. YouTube.com/BoydGreen25 and Twitter @BoydGreen25. Which again, I appreciate everybody. I'm seeing things like, oh man, how did the Jets lose this team? They're better. Like this week, and we're going through every game, and everyone's like, well, the Jets are better. Jets are better. Jets are better. Well, it's no team has ever gone 17-0 since we have a very small sample size of 17 game regular seasons. The fact of the matter is that there is going to be bumps in this journey. Are there a lot of bumps? Are there a few bumps? Are you 9-8? Are you 15-2? I don't know. We're making our prognostications here. I think there are going to be times, and it can't be helped, where even I go to the Boston Celtics where they just were sleeping at the wheel and then they get caught. Something happens, or a good stylistic matchup could come up on the docket here for the New York Jets. What's Aaron Rodgers' health? Does he play in all 17 games? I don't know. So as I went through this, I looked at opponents that could get the Jets, that they could somehow not see it. Something happens. Or, like I said, coming off a bye, that history speaks for itself and their lack of preparation or over preparation, however you'd like to slice that piece of the bread. And so 13-4, that's what I have. And I've heard a few people in here say that they believe it's 11-13 wins they believe it's going to be. Hey, I agree that this is on the higher side. There's no doubt about it. But I do believe that this is a special team with one of the best rosters in football and a very talented quarterback. And depending on what Aaron Rodgers you get, whether he's average, like a top 15 quarterback, or a top 10 or higher, that changes perhaps the perception of this New York Jets season.
Yeah, it should be interesting. And we'll track this week by week.
I hope so. It's official. It's out, and we'll make a nice little sexy graphics out of this that'll be even easier to reference as we progress through the season. So it should be a doozy.
Yep, looking forward to it.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, Pop. Again, no surprise, there's higher than you in wins. I am looking forward to the apology on a week-to-week basis as we're going through this, starting in week 1 when the Jets beat the
If you could give me the apology for being spot on with the prediction last year, I'm waiting for that. And then we can worry about the future.
Did you predict that Aaron Rodgers was going to get hurt in week 1?
7-10 is what I predicted.
We heard it.
I predicted the season was over if they didn't get a good backup quarterback. I did that in the morning in Dallas. We did a live show. They need to get a backup quarterback or this season is over. I said it. You were sitting beside me. We're in a hotel room in Dallas before the Cowboys game.
Yeah, after Aaron Rodgers was already hurt.
That's right. Yeah, I said right. That's why I said if they don't get a quarterback to replace it, that's why I said that, because I wouldn't say that before he got.
Well, a lot of people would say it before because you are one play away from Zach Wilson. A lot of people did say
it goes to the running terrible theme of the Jets to let's run it back with Zach Wilson.
Well, that was a questionable choice and one that I eventually embraced. But that was obviously a mistake. And now the Jets have Tyrod Taylor, who I feel a lot better about as a guy that, if necessary, not even for a season, I'm just talking about what normal injuries happen where someone twists an ankle, they're out for a week or two. I feel very confident that if Tyrod Taylor comes in, he's not going to ruin games. He's never had a double-digit interception season, and he can hold the water. Is he going to be a Pro Bowler? That would surprise me at 34.
Well,
he will be 35 in August. But can he be a very solid quarterback and allow the team that's really talented to figure it out? I think so.
The Pro Bowl thing. You can't use that measuring stick anymore. But right, Zach Wilson as a backup was a hot chick at closing time. But when you woke up, you were gnawing your arm off to escape.
I see. What an analogy. That's interesting. So again, final your record prediction was 11-6, mine 13-4, and an AFC East title, baby, competing for the number 1 seed. Spectacular.
All right. I think it's time to segue.
Yeah,
not that Paul Blart vehicle. But yes, we'll do a quick 4th of July flashback down memory lane.
Sure.
We'll wait for our guest to come in.
Yeah. All right.
I think he's on his way in now.
Oh, excellent.
But yes, every 4th of July, we'd have a family vacation up here in God's country in North Conway.
Mhm.
And here, let me turn the.
Sure. You're on mute there, but
I don't know why when you unplug the headphones, you go on mute. But
I'm not sure. That's above my pay grade. But welcome my uncle back into the show. In case you guys you missed the beginning of the program, this is my uncle. They're there at the wonderful New Hampshire getaway. Esden Zone country. So okay, let me present some photos here. Let me get some action here as we're doing some storytelling. Let me see. Get this one. There they are. Look at that.
So for a better part of a decade, this crew played full contact, no blood, no foul, contact basketball.
When men were men.
Where men were men. So for the better part of a decade, and we won't jump into the record over the 10 years of win-loss record. We will not delve into that. But these are great times. I think you have some action photos.
I do. Yes.
And by the way, nobody here in this group is ever going to be mistaken for Kobe or Mike.
Speak for yourself, pal. But okay. Yep. There we go.
Yeah,
Look at this Kobe shot. Look at that. Hit the brakes. I don't want to see the after shot of Luke's ankles here. But look at this. Look at hit the brakes. He's going that way. Someone's going up for
You're juking out somebody wearing Birkenstocks, for God's sakes. What are you talking about?
There you go.
Zoom in on those shoes. What is he wearing?
Who knows? That is weird. I'm not sure the footwear choice that was happening there for that one, but yep. Let me get some more in here.
Inaugural game where he didn't know it was coming up, but he got caught with his pants down.
Yeah, that's okay. And let's throw another one up here. We'll throw this one up here. Who's that? Hakeem Olajuwon? What's happening there on that block?
Look at that.
Boy, some defense. Oh, boy.
Look at that D.
Looks like there could be a foul there. It looks like Luke's about to club my father in the head.
Defense.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, a lot of action shots, and so an annual Esden Bryan basketball game where we used to vacation there in North Conway. That was nice. That was before you guys ended up getting your own place. We had that basketball court there. It was cool because I'm going to be honest. Prior to this, I mean, my uncle Chris can speak differently potentially for that, but I think that was the most time I ever got to kind of hang out with the Bryan family was these annual retreats that were happening around July 4th weekend. So
absolutely great memories and great competition for sure.
Yeah, and whoa! I'm not. Let me just make that clear. I don't own a pair of jean shorts, so like that is not the combo. Whatever these pictures are, these are all like loose athletic shorts, not a jean short guy. I'm not sure if anyone had any jean shorts here. If so, that's a terrible mistake. Would later be discovered later, I imagine. So yes. Oh, Frank is asking, Pop. I know you said you weren't going to bring it up. What's the all-time record of these games between the Bryan family and the Esden family?
I would say that we roughly played about 50 basketball games over that decade of time. I would say about. And I'm not going to say that the Dolphins champagne would have been destroyed because they would never have been able to pop the bottle because it might have been 50-0. Wow. But there was a few close ones, a lot of close ones. Yeah. But I think the final record might have been 50-0.
I see. So that's
it was heavily weighted to that side. Else I will concede to that.
Okay. Well, the competition was fun. It was cool to do. And again, we're going to have to do like a grown-up style because I'm pretty sure that's the first version of grown-ups is that they all gather and come back at the end. So we're going to have to do like the 50-year reunion tour. I got a blown out ACL now and everything else. So I think, we've a level playing field here. We can see what happens now.
We'll stick to cornhole.
Yeah, there you go. That's probably healthier. Healthier.
Yeah. So great times. Shout out to Luke. Who managed to twist his ankle, I think 35 out of those 50 times. But it did look like he was angrily clubbing me in the side of the head in that picture.
It did. There was some energy. It's a still shot, but it looked like he was muttering something maybe.
Yeah.
Did not look good there. No.
They said his only defense.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. I respect it, but I love these stories. It's always good, and specifically with the basketball stuff. So I've not been able to play hoops in a while, but that's a good one. And the cornhole stuff is fun too. That was a late addition. I wish we did some more of that too. So we'll have to all get together here in the near future and run back through all that jazz. That'd be a lot of fun.
Most definitely. All right. Boy Green.
Yep, Uncle Chris. Good seeing you, pal. Have a hand grenade for me.
Hey now, hand grenades.
Beautiful. So, Father, would you like to open up the phone lines?
Yeah, I got hold on 1 second.
Sure. Yep. Go ahead. Switch to your other gear there.
It's before the bacon is done in the pan.
Right. So go ahead and say that one more time on your time availability. What did you say?
Yeah, you got 5-10 minutes.
Okay,
Like
5-10 minutes, people. There you go. That is the time you are allotted, so take full advantage of it. I am opening it up, putting it in the comments section if you guys would like to call into the show and react to our records, share your own, perhaps. Feel free to do that if you are watching after the fact. I would love to see, all of your record predictions for the New York Jets. That would be wonderful for me to see and kind of bounce off what we ended up coming up with. Let's see. Let me put this in here real quick before I keep chattering away. That is now in the comments section, so you guys can click that. That is the pinned message on www.youtube.com/boygreen25. And like I said, if you are watching after the fact, we would love to see you guys put your schedule predictions down there, and we can do some compare and contrast. I'll try to react to as many of the comments as possible here on the program. All right.
Yeah, so Jared, I'm sorry,
yeah.
Jared put it out there what my prediction was for the Cowboys. And just so you know,
Yes.
I think it really hinges on the running game. Their ceiling is probably 12 wins, but they could be a 9-win team if this running game that has gone. I like Zeke as much as the next guy, but I'm not sure that we've solved that problem. So 9 to 12 wins, but I think it's 12 and win the division. But there you go.
Yeah, I know this is a Jet show, but boy, that Derrick Henry said he was waiting for a call from the Dallas Cowboys and they never called. Boy, that would have been an excellent fit to have Derrick Henry, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and he wanted to go. He has a house out there in Texas.
My parents died when I was 7. Do you want to talk about that?
Yikes. Let's go to the phone lines. Bobby Midnight here on the show. What's up, Bobby?
Hey, how you doing, Paulus?
Hey, Bobby, hailing from Brattleboro, Vermont.
Yeah, I know you were in North Conway. Well, I used to live in Keene, New Hampshire. Wow.
Wow, that's
Detective
right around.
Midnight.
Yeah, there you go. You're on the case. By the way, Bobby, I want to thank you.
Jake put it in there. Guess
Thanks
what?
for the membership. Thanks for the
Boy,
membership, pal. I appreciate you giving that at the beginning of the show.
you're
Thanks.
welcome. No problem. Give it forward,
Yeah.
Guess what? My hours now reach 3,000. I'm just working on
Congratulations on watch time on your YouTube channel, which guys.
Well,
guys
you
can
know
check
how
out
many
Bobby's
hours
channel.
I went last night? I went 6.5 hours the first time, about 2 hours the second time.
Good Lord. Wow.
Wow.
Okay, you're a man of the
6.5
people.
hours. That's some stamina. You make sure you take your vitamins.
Oh, yeah. I went to bed. I got up. I slept great. So, yeah, can I give you my prediction for the Jets?
Please do.
Okay. I agree with Paul. We're going to be boy.
Which Paul?
Junior.
Excellent.
We're
Yeah,
going
good
to
work.
beat the 49ers. We're going to stomp all over that little quarterback. We're going to sack him about, I say, 6 times.
Ooh, okay, great.
And 3 interceptions.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Then we beat Tennessee hands down. Then the smelly Patriots we destroy. Then I hope we get Zach Wilson, teach that child a lesson, whip him. We should be 4-0, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then Minnesota, definitely. Then I think we should beat Buffalo at home. Then Pittsburgh, I think I'm going to give them the first loss.
Okay.
Then we're going to sweep New England. Then we're going to beat those Houston Texans. We're going to destroy it like we did last time. The other guy's going to have, what's that called? Sophomore jinx.
Yeah, sophomore slump. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you forget how much I am already?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, guys.
That's okay.
Then I think they'll lose to Arizona.
Okay.
Then they're going to beat those Colts. I don't think the Colts are that good.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're going to beat the Seattle Seahawks. Then at Miami, I think they're going to get the next loss. Then Jacksonville, they should easily take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Rams. Then at Buffalo, we should. Did I say when? I think they're going to split at Buffalo. Then we're going to take it at at home versus Miami.
Okay, Clancy looks like you've been keeping track of your records here.
Yeah.
He's off by a game, he said. So it's somewhere in the 12-13 win range. Spectacular.
Yeah, I was thinking 12-5. That's my final.
Good, which again would tie the most wins the Jets have ever had in a regular season in 1998. Excellent work, Bobby.
And is that your brother that was on screen?
No, that's my uncle. So my dad's cousin.
Oh, dad's cousin?
Yeah.
Oh, you know who he looks like?
Who?
Mr. Clean?
No, he looks like that Italian the guy on Master Chef. Joe. He's a restaurant owner.
Oh, are you talking about like the bakery guy?
No.
Little,
on Master Chef, he does have that little.
Master Chef Joe Bastianich.
Yeah,
that's him. That's who his brother. Yeah, that's who he look. Tell him that for me, okay?
I'm not sure that's a compliment, but I will tell him. I think he's hearing it live now.
Yeah, that's a little slight of frame. I think my Uncle Chris is a little, beefier. He's a little bigger.
But his face looks like him.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Bastianich. Okay, wow.
You gotta tell him that for me, okay?
I'll tell him right after this. Yeah, he's got a butter face.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about Iron Chef at first. Now I'm like,
no, not Iron Chef. I couldn't remember his last name and his mother.
Yes,
the Chris. Joe's mother is adorable on the show.
Yeah,
too.
She's a nice old lady. Yeah.
Yeah, she's good at pasta making too.
Yeah.
All right, so nice to see you guys.
And thank you, Bobby.
You guys have a great weekend. You're on tomorrow, Boy Green?
I'm on every day, baby. Yes.
Okay, I'll be here for you.
Can't wait. Thanks, Bobby. And wonderful. Thank you for the gifted membership right at the beginning of the program. Wow. Lots to unpack there. There, Joe Bastianich.
We should get off moms and I won't even say the second half of that joke.
Yeah, okay. That's uncomfortable. All right. Well, another happy birthday to my big brother Brody, who again turns 34 years young today. I'll give him a call later today, but a shout out to him, to the universe. We have 400 people live in the room here. And again, one last time, our record predictions. Father, go ahead, spit yours out to the universe.
Yeah, I got it. The Jets at 11-6.
13-4, baby, for old boy Green. And like I said, we'll put together a nice little graphic. I'll work behind the scenes on that and get that out here in the near future. And that's something we'll be able to reference and update throughout the season. Should be a doozy. Father, enjoy the time with the family up there. Wish we were up there with you, but like I said, and enjoy the heck out of it.
Absolutely, thank you, and hope everyone has a good weekend. Remember, get the merch. Get your mom to give you the lunch money so you can join us on the home opener, and it's going to be good times.
Yeah, we'll wrap up there. Again, another reminder, folks, if you've been thinking about going to New York Jets versus New England Patriots Thursday Night Football, September 19th, but you've been going back and forth, I don't know, prime time, this, that, or the other, just do it, baby. Shia LaBeouf, just do it. And there it is in the YouTube description. All the details, $140 a ticket. They're in the upper end zone. There's also a tailgating option where you guys can hang out with us before the game. It's going to be me, Woody, Nick Shine, so many other Jets content creators are all going to be there, and several members of the Boy Green Coffee Club. And I'd love to meet all of you guys again. The deadline is Monday after Boy Green Daily, which is 8:30 in the morning. So literally you have less than whatever it is, 48, 72 hours. We're coming up on it, guys. So again, Monday morning is the cutoff. So please, please, please get that money in. Again, I'll say it out loud on top of my YouTube description. My PayPal and Venmo is the same. It's my email. It's Paul, ESDENJR@gmail.com. You can email that email for questions, and I can answer those very quickly. But also, if you want to send the money, it is PayPal or Venmo. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, don't forget. You don't want to miss the first annual Boy Green Toss happening at the tailgate, as well as Bobby the Brawler will be signing autographs. And maybe we set up a squared ring and he goes a few rounds with Woody.
Okay, well, that would be something. Actually, we have one last caller that's jumping on into the show here. He's a guy that's been coming on the show the last couple of days. Let's bring him on, the legendary FL Phil 98 here on the program. What's up, buddy?
Good morning, gentlemen. Senior, I wanted to give you a shout out. I'm much closer to your opinion than I am to Junior's. I hope I'm wrong, Junior. Truthfully, I do. But rather than go game by game, what I'm going to say is after 12 games, I have all three, and I went through all three of their records, their schedules: Miami, Buffalo, and the Jets. All of them at either 7-5 or 8-4. And then those last five, and I looked at the same way you did. It seems to me like that's where the rubber hits the road. Those last 5 games, and the Jets and Miami play each other, and so obviously somebody gets a leg up, maybe even a 2-game lead. Buffalo got at the Rams. So that's a tough week, and no matter how you slice it, when you look down these last 5 games for all three of these teams, you can see them each dropping a game or two. So I think it comes down to the last 2 weeks. The Jets obviously playing Buffalo. Somebody gets a leg up, and Miami's got to go to Cleveland, which is not an easy game in December. And then the last week, of course, the Jets play Miami, but Buffalo's got New England bookended over the Jets. The last 3 games for them is New England, Jets, New England.
Oof.
Oh.
So I've got everybody piled up at 9 or 10 wins coming into those last 2 weeks, and it's a 10-7, 11-6 division, and I think only 2 make the playoffs.
Wow. Okay. Which again, that's a firm line in the sand with all those guys. A lot of people think the 3 teams can make it, but oh wow.
Yeah, that's a solid take. I would tell you, I would think the reason that they don't make it is because they all have to punch each other in the mouth, fighting each other out. And that may prevent the 3 teams. But I think it's possible that 3 teams, but if they don't, it would be because they have to play each other.
I agree. Somebody's going to get knocked out because of a tiebreaker. Or somebody's going to end up 9-8, one's 10-7, one's 11-6. It's going to be a train wreck that last 2 weeks of the season. Now, again, I could be wrong. This team could be, Paul, you asked me about the 98 Jets and like how special that was. About halfway through the season, I knew something special was happening. I think this is a team that could be that. So maybe they get off to that 7 or 8 win start. And then you're looking at a different world. You're going to have to show me. Now, going into 99, that was the first time I ever went into a season like this is it. And we lose Testaverde week 1. The parallels between 99 and 2023 are staggering.
100%.
So yeah, I'm just, to me, I think 10 or 11 is a realistic number. I'm sure there's a lot of guys right now that are pissed at me. I'm sorry. I wish I could say 13. I just can't get there.
That's fair enough. Phil, thanks for the analysis, and thanks for breaking it down.
Thank you.
Again, how the other teams are comparing there in the AFC East. That's a good way to look at it. Thanks, pal.
Have a good one.
All right, appreciate it. And before we get out of here, I just want to give a special shout out to Bobby once again, gifting another membership. Play the chimes, baby. I will give a shout out to Jet Set for Life, who was just gifted a membership from Bobby Midnight, a new member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. So thank you, Bobby, for being so giving and paying it forward and spreading the love. Wow, we're well over 40 members now on the Boy Green Coffee Club. So spectacular. Thank you, everybody who has shown their support on the channel. Beautiful. Great.
Yep, I'm waiting for my royalty checks to roll in. So just let
see.
me know when they're sending it over.
Yeah, there you go. We'll see how that rolls. That should be very interesting. There's the July 4th and the shipping and all this other stuff, but I'm sure it's on the way.
Checks in the mail.
Jelly of the Month
Put it on my
Club.
tab.
Jelly of the Month Club. All yours, baby. We'll first class. We'll send that. Thanks everybody for tuning in again. Boy Green Merch Shop is down below, and also the final stretch here of the Jets Patriots game. We'll be promoting over the next couple of days to try to get as many of you as possible to jump on the Jets Patriots bandwagon. Should be a lot of fun. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Shout out again to Bobby Midnight. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Take care, everybody. Enjoy your Saturday.